Seems a little excessive.
You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, we're going to discuss the Bulls having yet another slow start. No Zach LaVine against the OKC Thunder, and there's enough blame going to head coach Billy Donovan. We're getting to all that and more right after this.
That was cool.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. Pat, another loss, another slow start for the Chicago Bulls, man. And it really does come down. The thing that sucks about this is that it comes down to the slow starts really are what makes the Bulls lose these games. When you look at how they play through the other three quarters of the game, not saying that they won every quarter, they didn't still have mistakes, but listen, they won the second and third quarter. They still lost the fourth quarter, but overall, that 12-point deficit to start off a game, when you start games off like that, it's hard to maintain that energy. Like the Bulls did play with much better energy down the stretch of the game, and I'll give them credit for that. But if you just were able to just take some of that and use it over all four quarters, we'd probably be talking about a team that's probably only 2 games below 500 or 3 games below 500.
Listen, I mean, we've been talking about this team not being able to turn defense into offense now for 2 seasons, and it's the most prominent thing that I think this team has to fix. Like, if you can find one guy to score or somebody to consistently go out there and be able to get the job done, right? Like, I mean, like you're talking about even just sticking to the hot hand is something that we could do, right? Like how Kobe White was scoring in the first quarter, how he was able to get himself going. Would have loved to see them continue to just find ways to get Kobe the ball and get Kobe open. That's really what I want to see this Bulls team get to the point where they have a go-to scorer. They have the wrong idea, I think, of who their go-to scorers need to be. And I think it shows at the end of the games when you're sitting here talking about entire quarters where it's like, well, we tried to get this guy going, but he never really was able to get going. And then we let somebody else do it. And all of a sudden he was able to score. Yeah, I mean, like this Bulls team is the same conversation every single night. And it's like when the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And the Chicago Bulls continue to just do the same things to start games. And then magically, halfway through the game, they go, hey, why don't we try this other thing? And they find their way back in the game because they have a good enough defense to keep things close. I mean, we haven't talked really about too many teams this season putting up, 125 plus points on the Bulls. And this is what teams do most night in and night out before they play the Bulls. So it tells you that there's something there on defense, but offensively, you got to figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Bulls are a top 10 defense in the league, and I shout out to them on that. But look, even then, like the defense isn't even consistent. Let's not act like we don't have absolute quarters where we just look like dog water defensively too. The Bulls' biggest thing is they have no consistency, none. And the lack of balance on the offensive side of the ball is glaring, and it's weird to see even in a game like this with Zach LaVine being out, which we'll talk about a little bit more in the next segment. But you saw Kobe come in and step into that role and step in and wanting to take a larger part of the scoring role. And shout out to him for being the one to do that. Because listen, I'll tell you what, in the first half of this game was basically Kobe and Ayo Dosunmu that had this team that even as far as the deficit not being bigger than what it was.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought that the offense in the first half, I thought it moved better. I thought that they got to the bucket a lot better. Kobe White was all 3-pointers, but I thought Ayo Dosunmu found his way downhill a lot and was creating offense for other people. Kobe White shot the 3 ball extremely well in that first half. I believe he left the first half shooting above 60%, ended up finishing the game shooting above 50%, 58% on the day for Kobe White from the 3-point line. There's some good things to talk about coming out of this game, but you can't sit there and talk about the good things without talking about the glaring fact that how many games now have we had sub 20-point quarters? When you have those sub 20-point quarters, you're not going to be able to compete in games at the end. You're doing, and the problem with the Bulls is offensively, they're doing so much to get back into the game that once they get back into the game, then it's like, okay, now we're back. I'm exhausted because we've had to do so much defensively and score so much to get back into this. Now we got to actually finish the rest of the game. And you come up short in the fourth quarter. In the third quarter, guess what? They went on a nice little run, and it just seemed like they ran out of gas.
They shot the ball 55 almost % in the third quarter of this game. Keep in mind, they shot the ball 17% as a team in the first quarter of this game. So it's like you said, you expound so much energy coming back, and I give them the credit for showing the heart to fight back and get the lead down and tie it. I think they did briefly, or maybe they were down by 1 point. But it's like when you're facing a team, especially a team like the OKC Thunder that are coached really well, that have a player like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Hell, you had players on this team. 2 players that almost outscored the Bulls bench entirely just by themselves individually. Isaiah Joe had 20 points off the bench. The Bulls had like 17 points off the bench in total. So it's like those type of things. The Bulls lose the kind of nitty-gritty stats. Points in the paint, 42-28 against the Chicago Bulls. Bench points, 41-16 against the Chicago Bulls. Those type of things will kill you. They'll absolutely kill you, especially when you start off with a deficit like the Bulls continually do.
And I mean, listen, I'm sorry, bro. Like at this point, if you think P. Will is anything but a dude that plays basketball in the NBA, like you want the weight difference between Isaiah Joe, who was guarding him most of the time, and Patrick Williams.
Yeah, like 40 pounds, right? Something like that.
60 pounds.
That's crazy.
Isaiah Joe weighs 165 pounds.
That's crazy.
Patrick Williams weighs 220. Patrick Williams would not go through Isaiah Joe.
Him and Vooch both had moments where they couldn't do anything against smaller players.
Well, I think I like the adjustment Chet has made. Chet has stopped saying, I'm going to bang with y'all in the post. I'm going to let y'all back down. And then when y'all throw up a shot, I'm just taller than y'all and stick my arms. I like the adjustment Chet's made. I'm not going to lie. He surprised me a little bit.
12 blocks in total from the OKC Thunder in this game. I think 4 from Chet by himself. So
4 from Chet alone. Yeah, he surprised me with how he's adjusted to playing against bigger players, and I think he did a really good job on Vooch tonight. But it's just sad when you look at a guy who's I think rightfully so, we all believed had potential, and he won't go through a 165-pound man. I can run through a 165-pound guy.
I know we saw you do it when you was in there for that Bulls game and that competing in that game.
Oh yeah, I did push that guy out the way.
Yeah, pushed the guy out the way.
He had to be 165. Yeah. Hey, listen, I knew what a parrot was at for the final. You dig, bro? Foul, get up out of here. Little bow action. You know what I mean? You're not running.
You almost forgot about that for a second because I saw you looking like, what is he talking about? See,
yeah. No, it's just one of those moments where I think you have one of two things. One, whatever Javon Carter said coming into the season, that was a load of bull crap because he's the main person that I see passing up shots just about every time the ball touches his hand on the first time. And 2, right, like there's no want to be offensively great on this team in my mind. Like when you look at what the Bulls are doing on a night in, night out basis, it looks like nobody wants to be the number one guy on the offense, except DeMar DeRozan, who clearly has slowed down a little bit. Shout out to DeMar also, though, moving to 36th on the all-time scoring list. He's at 22,000 points now. So DeMar's still cooking, but it's not the kind of cooking we need right now.
Yeah, DeMar got off to a slow start as well. I mean, I'm glad that he picked it up in the second half of this game. It just like we used to say it was the tell of two halves. It's not even about the tell of two halves anymore with this Bulls team. Like
that's just one quarter. If you score an NBA average for all 4 quarters, you're competing in this game. We scored 14 points. I would love to look. Let me see. We got a little time. We ain't got no reads on this one. We just going straight through it. It's free game today. Let's see. The Magic games, right? Those are the 2 we scored 33 points in, right? So we've scored 16 points in a quarter, 17 points in a quarter, both in one game. And then we scored 21 points in the first. That's I above 20. I can deal with that. And 12 in the second. We've had multiple games where we scored less than 15 points in a quarter.
That's wild.
15 points.
That's crazy.
Jay scored 12 points in the fourth quarter by himself. 2 of which, by the way, why the heck did we foul him on that? Why did we just give him 40? He was about to dribble the ball out, and they was like, "No, please drop 40 on us." Like we wanted to look bad.
You gotta
like,
get that 40 piece. Yeah, go ahead and get the 40. Just get the 40. You might as well get the 40 piece. I mean,
Patrick, why don't you go foul him real quick? Yeah, there it is. Yep, let's get the 40. Like we were coming back.
Billy Donovan wanted to give Shea a little something. That's all that was, bro.
Jesus.
But next up, we're going to be talking about Zach LaVine. I want to remind you guys, Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube. Pat, no Zach LaVine today. He set out this game with a left foot sprain. How you feeling about no Zach LaVine in this game?
I saw a lot of people trying to do the whole he's out, that means a trade is imminent thing. It means absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
It means absolutely nothing. Like legitimately, it means that he was out because maybe he decided to, hey, I had a left foot sprain or something like that. Maybe he decided he didn't want to play in this game, and the Bulls are at a point where, but like okay, like they're not trading him before December 15th. Now, if this left foot sprain lasts till December 15th, interesting. Interesting. And I mean, at the same time, he was still on the bench, right?
Yeah.
Zach was still in the building, right? Like I didn't read anything into this. I saw people trying to turn here. This is not the James Harden situation, people. Zach LaVine seems like he's done with the Bulls. The Bulls seem like they're kind of done with Zach. But this is not the James Harden situation. There's no more beef here than there needs to be. And we don't have to create one.
Men turn sports into the soap operas, bro. We've talked about it before. That's all it is.
I get it, but it's like, man, like we don't need to create the whole like Zach LaVine sitting out now, or like I saw Zach LaVine sitting out, and the Bulls have privately suspended Zach LaVine, both of which are stupid.
People are really stupid, bro.
Like it's just it's. I get it if it's a narrative that you want to have, but like. There's too much time until the 15th. He wouldn't be doing himself a service by sitting out until the 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like he wouldn't be doing himself a service by not going out there and playing, because
not with the performances he's been putting up lately. So
yeah, well, I mean, that may continue. I don't know about that. I don't know.
I'm just saying he's not doing his trade value anything good on that one, but. Oh, man, it is what it is, bro. When it comes down to it, here's what I'll say is that, yeah, Zach LaVine didn't play. I like the way that Kobe stepped up in his absence. There's nothing to read too far into it. He's out. It is what it is. A trade is not imminent. A trade is not happening until December 15th at the earliest. Keep in mind, that's at the earliest. That still means that it may very well go into January. So do not think a Zach LaVine trade is anywhere close imminent at all. Now, one thing though, we've had people say things like the Bulls are a playoff team. What does it say to you that the team looked basically the exact same with the exact same flaws without Zach LaVine playing in this game?
It looked at me like what we're going to talk about in the third segment. I mean, when I looked at this game today, I was just very confused because it feels like the politics of basketball have taken too much of a hold on the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, for sure. That's 100% fact.
Because there's no reason Kobe White should stop shooting. Now, I heard Adam Amin say something about Kobe maybe sprained his ankle or something like that. It looked like he sprained something in the second half. Like he was running around. He looked fine.
It looked fine to me, but
like I thought defensively he was still very active. Yeah, I mean, like I think that they literally were like, DeMar DeRozan hasn't gotten his 20 plus, get him the ball. And that's just the politics of the NBA, and that looks exactly like me. There's no reason. Kobe White in the second half of this game took, 4 shots?
Let's see. Kobe White took, a total of 4 shots in the second half of the game, 3 of those being three-pointers.
And he was 2 for 4 from the three-point line.
He was 2 for 4 overall.
He was 1 for 3 from the three-point line, 2 for 4 overall. Yeah, like it makes no sense. When things aren't logical and you're just like, oh, okay, I don't know why we just went away from the hot hand. Politics. Listen to all these podcasts that these players are talking about.
Yeah.
These mugs are telling y'all what is happening in the NBA. The NBA is a business. People show up to see DeMar DeRozan score baskets, not Kobe White.
And that's part of the problem with this team overall as well. And like you said, we'll get into it in the third segment. But when it comes down to it, the politics part of whatever happens, the hierarchy of the Chicago Bulls, whatever you want to call it, it has to stop. It's led us nowhere. at the end of the day. And until we start being that team that allows people to get hot and then we ride that hot hand, it's gonna keep being the same results. We've seen this story. We understand who DeMar DeRozan is. Right? We understand what he can be. We understand he broke Wilt records. We understand he's one of the best scorers in the game of basketball history. But guess what? We are seeing a team that Vooch and DeMar are starting to slow down. I've been hesitant to say it. I know we've kind of alluded to and talked about it a little bit. They're starting to slow down. And if we keep allowing them to dictate our offense, we're going to not get to develop. And Kobe, I think, is primed, ready to go. He's come in. He's grown his game. He's grown defensively, things like that. We have to reward the young players like Kobe White with being able to take on and have an opportunity to win us some basketball games. I get what DeMar has been, but until we get to that point of allowing these players, we never can expect them to grow to become that next level that we need, or get to that next level that we need them to get to, because we're not trusting them in those moments. You're doing the same thing Matt Eberflus did with taking the ball out of Justin Fields' hands in the fourth quarter against Detroit. Like, you're not giving players an opportunity to grow. They got to grow through trying, through trial and error. And you're going to keep taking that opportunity away from them. You can't complain too much when they don't develop.
Yeah. I mean, and you see it now. You see Kobe. Like, I give Kobe credit because Kobe's been through the muck and the mud. And he's been through everything with this Bulls team. The reason I give Kobe White credit is Kobe takes it all like a pro.
Yeah.
He's just like, hey, listen, I got my 20. All right, bet we're going through it. We're going to fight through it. We're going to figure this out. I think that you have a player right now who is looking to take the next step. No matter what that next step is going to be, right? Like, it seems like he's a much better three-point shooter than he is a shooter from the field overall. But he's also had a much better season to start this season. I don't know if he's the person that you want to build your offense around next, but at least he's the person that you should give the shots to. At least he's the person that you shouldn't shut out of the offense. And when you go into a situation where you're in the second half, you're fighting your way back. Yes, DeMar DeRozan did help you get back into that game. Sure. And I thought that he played really well in the second half. This is not a slight to DeMar, but DeMar's offense excludes everyone else from playing offense. And because of that, you saw Kobe White not be able to go out there and take the same shots, be the same level of player, because they were trying to funnel everything to DeMar, get him going. They got him going. It kept the game close. I'm not mad at it at all, but I think they've taken the King of the Fourth moniker a little far at this point in the season, because the King of the Fourth hasn't been the King of the Fourth for 2 years, if we've been 100% honest.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
The first season, he was the King of the Fourth.
And this is the 13th out of DeMar DeRozan's 15 seasons in the NBA where the team that he plays on has a better point differential when he's not on the court.
That's kind of crazy.
13 out of 15 years in the NBA.
Well, that's not surprising, I guess. Because
that's surprising on the Toronto team. That's surprising that he had that many.
It's not surprising because DeMar's always been such a liability defensively.
This is true.
Like, if I could put up 40 on you and be hype, but like if Kyle Lowry got to help me guard somebody every game, I can see why he would end up having a negative point differential against him. Like, DeMar ain't guarded nobody since the day he got in the league, except in very critical moments. Then all of a sudden he one of the best defenders in the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, DeMar's idea of defense is the same as his three-point shot. I can do it, but why go away from what's working?
No, I don't think it's that, because he can't defend. I've seen DeMar actually give effort defensively, and it's like,
DeMar actually can defend. That's what I'm saying.
Instead of staying in front of him for a half a step, you got 2.5 steps. Shout out to you, DeMar, but it still ends up in getting cooked.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, while we got a minute in between segments, because we're finna start talking about a sport. About a coach? Did you see Pop? Just get on the mic in the middle of what? Yeah. You can do that? Let's just start doing that every game. Just had a coach get on the mic and say one thing to the fans. Just be like, listen. Billy Donovan just comes out and just, both sides are trying very, very hard.
And no, Billy Donovan ain't the guy to get on there. Pop can do that. Billy Donovan can't do that.
Hey, bro, they gotta find somebody on that one. Like, they gotta find the mic guy.
Give the mic to Stacey King. Stacey King.
Oh, bro,
Give me
Stacey
6.
definitely. Stacey just gonna be. They
Have
give him
you
a PA mic instead of the other one.
Have you seen the Stacey King completely obliterate people for a whole day on Twitter?
Yes,
bro, that was
it's one of my favorite things ever.
And Stacey King, he's usually good for it once or twice a seseason. There was 3 days in a row. Stacey just woke up and was like, I got cases for everybody that wanted.
Hey, bro told Stacey, he said, Stacey, you act like you weren't a bus rider on those Chicago Bulls teams. And Stacey replied was like, bro, you're a bus rider at your 9 to 5. And I walked out the room. Or no, he said you're a bus rider to your 9 to 5 every day. And I left. I was done. I was like, you're a bus rider to your 9 to 5. My man's job can't even get him a car. That's a double entendre, bro.
Listen, Stacey King was on it, bro. That was hilarious to see.
It's funny, bro. Yeah, well, let's get Stacey on the mic. For when them fans just be behind him, just be like, Billy, you suck. Like, well, you know, what are you gonna do?
Anyway, so in this last segment, is enough blame going to head coach Billy Donovan when you look at the team having the exact same results with a player like Zach LaVine missing? To me, that points to coaching. How you feeling, Pat?
Who's not blaming him at this point?
I think there are some people that still aren't blaming Coach Billy Donovan. I would say
they're in the minority.
Oh, agreed. It's a vocal minority.
when you score 33, and in the first half of this game, what we put up? 36?
39, something like that.
When you do that, this is a weird thing to say, right? This sounds weird for basketball.
You act like you don't say weird stuff.
Yeah, shut up. But it sounds weird for basketball, right? But Billy Donovan needs an offensive coordinator.
Yes,
I give him all the credit in the world for being able to get this team to look as good as it does at times defensively.
Yeah,
because like, how many? What's Golden's or OKC's offensive rating this season, right? Like, what is it, 115, 118, something like that? Like,
I don't know.
No, it's probably higher than that. Probably in the 120s, right? Like, you're keeping a good team down. I give him credit for that. But he needs somebody to draw up offense for him. But there's no excuse for this offense that we're seeing. And you know what my biggest issue with the offense is? Everybody in the offense do this. For those of y'all on the podcast side that can't hear this, it's basically just me standing here with my hands out. This is the movement on offense. They a little bit, because the ball movement, right? So you got to follow the guy. Like, nobody's running around. There's no off-ball action. I haven't seen off-ball action on the Chicago Bulls since Tom Thibodeau left. Like, and
there was
Tom
some off-ball action with Fred
coach.
Hoiberg, but yeah, I get what you're saying on that.
I don't know if did we really have off-ball action?
We had off-ball action with
Fred Hoiberg. I guess so, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, we did have off-ball action because Fred had – is my memory wrong, or was Fred the coach on Derrick Rose game winner over Cleveland?
Yeah, Fred Hoiberg was the coach then.
And we had off-ball action?
Yeah.
Dang, we really was just like, hey, Fred, this team's done. You figure it out.
Well, don't get me wrong. Fred Hoiberg, I think, at one day is going to get another shot to coach in the NBA, and hopefully he gets a roster.
Fred ain't coming back. Hey, Chicago destroyed Fred.
He's going to get another chance. Watch, bro. He's going to get another chance. Fred Hoiberg's going to be 62 years old out there like, I'm back.
We're going to bring Fred Hoiberg back here on some Steve Clifford stuff.
Hey, listen, Fred Hoiberg would be a really good offensive coordinator for Billy Donovan.
Yeah, but we couldn't play no defense, and we had Jimmy Butler on the team.
You're right, but hey, we just said it. Billy Donovan does do a good job of coming up with a defensive
let's get Fred as the OC.
Listen, it's not going to happen, bro.
Let's get Fred as the OC. Hey, Fred, come on back. Be an assistant coach in the NBA. We'll bump your salary up. You can't be making that much at Iowa or Iowa State, wherever he's at. Nobody knows where he's at. You come in here and you draw up offensive schemes, and I literally want them wearing headsets for no reason. Just put them on and talk into them, because both of y'all going to look goofy out there. Like, Fred Hoiberg looks like Billy Donovan's son.
You're not wrong. I mean, he also looks like old boy who played Two-Face. What's his name?
Oh, that's a bar.
Yeah, what's his name? In the Dark Knight. I can't remember what his name is.
Can't remember his name. He's at Nebraska. Dang, he ain't even in Iowa no more. He definitely not making no money at Nebraska, bro.
That's crazy.
He's definitely not making no money at Nebraska, bro.
Shout out to Fred Hoiberg.
Shout out Fred Hoiberg, man. Keep a job.
Listen, Fred Hoiberg has been the head coach of Nebraska since 2019, basically since he left the Bulls. He has a total record there of 46-83. He ain't making no money.
God dang.
He ain't making no money out there.
46-83.
Yeah, keep in mind though, when he was with Iowa State, he had a total record over 5 years there as well, 115-56.
Well, yeah, you at Iowa State. I mean, you can get more people to come to a school that's near them than crazy. Nebraska. Who's going to Nebraska for basketball? I don't even know nobody from Nebraska for basketball. They play basketball in Nebraska?
People actually live in Nebraska like full time?
For football, yeah, that makes sense.
That's
Nebraska
crazy,
football. I'm trying to think. Is there an NBA player
that's come from Nebraska? I'm sure
from Nebraska, bro. He can't be good.
There's one.
I don't ever remember somebody cooking from Nebraska. Nebraska has 15 former players and 3 that made the NBA. Let's see. Delano Banton.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Isaiah Roby.
Okay.
Yeah. Bryce McGowan. I don't even know who that is. He's still in the league.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Eric Strickland.
That's
a pretty good one.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Mad disrespect. Tyronn Lue went to Nebraska.
Again, nobody. Okay.
Dang. Wow. Hey, listen. Some of these names sound like they went to Nebraska. Eric Pulowski.
Oh, that's definitely the Nebraska name. He's from Nebraska.
Stu Lance. Who else we got? Andrew White. Oh, come on. That's pure Nebraska.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's not good.
Let's get up out of here, bro. We're done. This is over with. This team sucks, man.
Yeah. We started talking about Nebraska basketball. How bad do you think it is? Is there, before we get up out of here, is there somebody asked me this on the channel, is there a coach right now over on the Breeze? Is there a coach right now who's possibly on the hot seat that you would like to see be the coach of the Chicago Bulls?
Well, I've told you before, I don't want the Chicago Bulls to go after another name. I want the Chicago Bulls to get who's going to be the next great head coach. That's what I want. I want them to do an extensive search to find somebody who they feel can build a program here. I want them to fight their Mike Dango. That's what I want them to find.
What'd you call him?
Dango?
Mike Dagno?
Every time I see his name, I pronounce it a different way. So there you go.
I thought you said Mike Dangled. I was like, all right, it's time to get up out of here for sure. What's going on here? I am concerned.
Let's get up out of here, bro.
Tyronn Lue.
I'm good on Ty Lue.
You good on Ty Lue?
I'm good on Ty Lue.
See, I feel like Ty Lue is a championship coach that adjusts.
I get that, but every Ty Lue constantly looks constipated for just my own inability to be mature.
At the look
at me for my own inability to be mature enough not to crack jokes all the time. No, I'm good, bro.
Hey, listen, bro, we gonna be cracking jokes all the time anyway. We've got 5 wins on the season, brother. Like, jokes is what we got coming for this podcast. We're gonna talk Bulls and these jokes. That's all we got.
That's it. Yep, that's it.
Oh, man. Hey, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer, and Scott Foster just threw CP3 out the game. So that's going to be a topic here.
That's crazy.
Here we go.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. Me and Pat will be back tomorrow with another daily episode. We love you guys. Go Bulls, all that good stuff. Peace, y'all.
Peace. Called that man Mike Dangles.
That's what I said.
Crazy. Gotta be a pause.